Hi, this is Mr. Ward, and this is the Algebra Exit Ticket 34.1 video key. And this was, of course, this is for A and B block due to the way the blocks are scheduled this week. This will be the Exit Ticket 34.2 for D block. So let's go ahead and do the work. So we want to factor x squared minus 100. Now, this, I want you to start recognizing, is a difference of squares. And the difference of squares structure factors fairly simply like this. If I have a squared minus b squared, I'm going to factor that as a plus b times a minus b. A plus b times a minus b will multiply out into this a squared minus b squared structure. So notice we have a square here and a square here and no middle term, and we have subtraction. So the factors, I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. So that's an x squared, and 100 is a 10 squared. So we've got x squared minus 10 squared, so that's going to be, I'm going to replace the a with x and the b with 10 in both places, x and 10. So x plus 10 times x minus 10. Those are the factors of this function. That means, of course, the x-intercepts are negative 10 and 10. Now let's factor this one. This one looks to me like a perfect square. There's leads of the square and ends of the square, and the middle term looks suspiciously like it might work for a perfect square structure. Perfect square structure. So the perfect square structure looks like this: a plus b squared, which is of course a plus b times a plus b. That multiplies out or expands into a squared, because I got a times a here. I've also got a plus b squared because I've got the b times b. But in the middle, I've got an a times b and an a times b. So I've got an ab plus ab. And if I've got two ab's, I may as well write them as 2ab. So now the question is, in this, would 20x fit the bill of a 2ab? And the way you want to work that out is 20 equal to 2 times the square root of x squared times the square root of 100? So let's check it out. So if I set this up using this structure, and I'm going to say, okay, a is 10, I'm sorry, a is x in this case, so x squared, and b is going to be 10, because 10 squared will be 100. And then my question is, what do I get if I multiply 2 times x times 10? So if b is 10 and x is a, what do I get? So I'm going to move that x over here, and I'm going to get 20x. So that actually fits the bill. That's what I needed for my middle term. So in fact, when I factor this, I'm going to have, I'll be factoring this, I'll have x plus 10 times x plus 10, which I can write as, I'll do it that way first, x plus 10 plus times x plus 10. And that's going to work out to, of course, x squared plus 10x plus 10x plus 100. And that simplifies to 20x. So we have a perfect square, x plus 10 squared. There you go. Now let's take a look at the next one. So we've got 28. We want to get the square root of 28. So the square root of 28. Whenever you got a number that is not obviously a perfect square, you want to see if you can break it out into factors that might be perfect squares. And 28 can definitely be broken down into 4 times 7. Or you could have done 2 times 2 times 7, and that would reveal a perfect square as well. When I've got a product in a perfect square, I can turn that into the product of numbers. Let me start that over. If I had the square root of a product, I can turn that into a product of square roots. So a square root of a product can be turned into a product of square roots. So I've turned that into root 4 times root 7. And I can get the square root of 4. That's going to be 2. 7 has to stay in square root jail because we can't reduce it. And we're going to have, of course, a plus n minus version. So our options up here, we can rule that one out because we could simplify it. The 7 isn't coming out of square root jail, but the 2 is. And when it does, it doesn't stay a 4. It actually, we get the square root of 4. So that's our option. And for number 4, I just want you to figure out what A, B, and C are in this equation. Well, A is the coefficient of x squared, and that is 15. So A equals 15. B is the coefficient of x, so that's going to be 14. And C is the constant coefficient, it's the standalone. So that says minus 8, so that means C is negative 8. And that is a good place to stop.